That's a good segue. So when we were talking about the integrated curriculum in lower elementary and upper and middle school and what that looks like, and as we were all collaborating and talking, and I was like, we have always done this in pre-primary and primary. And I think it was maybe Katie, who she has, child in middle school, and she was like, really? You integrate the curriculum? And I was like, of course we do. And it's so important at the lower levels because that's when, in pre-primary and primary Montessori, it's so child-directed, right? We call them work cycles. Go choose work, right? So they don't have those designated blocks throughout their day. They have these work cycles. So by integrating the curriculum, it's so important that whatever themes they are studying, they can find that throughout all areas of the classroom. And so when people say, how does this happen for a 1.5-year-old? Well, and I'll show you some pictures, which a nice little graph like Ms. Stephanie had would have probably been more efficient than this stuff. But nonetheless, you can find it all throughout the toddler classrooms, all throughout the primary classrooms. So every month they do have certain monthly themes of curriculum. In pre-primary, it's one theme, and then in primary, they study a continent, a science theme, and then a cultural theme as well. And so throughout whatever that thematic study is, you can find samples of that throughout the classroom. And it's so important because a child may not maybe innately be interested in numbers, right? They're not there yet, or they're interested in math, but they're going to love the cars. And so with that, you can start introducing numbers and counting with the transportation, perhaps if that's the theme, right? Or they're resistant to language, or maybe they're just not interested yet, right? It's hard to get perhaps a 3-year-old who's more innately drawn to the gross motor and sensorial into that language development stage, right? And we want to foster those innate interests, but also still make sure that we're exposing them to these concepts. So how do we do that? We take these themes and we sprinkle them throughout the classroom. So there's not one shelf that says, okay, we're studying mammals, that's the shelf that you can find mammals on. Or we're going to introduce nutrition, and if you want to do a nutrition lesson, you can find it right there. It's really built in throughout their classroom. So I spent the last week taking a lot of pictures, and I've been in all of the classrooms, and I tell the teachers, I'm like, don't mind me, I need your numbers and letters, and I need your themes. And so with that, these are just some visual examples. Nutrition, so I just picked a couple of the themes. So nutrition, here's just a couple of examples of practical life. We can kind of flip through pretty quickly. Nutrition and language. Now, there's also, I try to do just a couple. Something very basic, you can see this in toddler, right? This is just object to object matching. Then it becomes a little more abstract, object to picture. Then this is something that you probably see in the primary classrooms with the sandpaper letters, starting to identify the initial sound with the fruits or vegetables. And then I just stage that. Whatever theme they're studying, there will always be literature in the classrooms as well, both fiction and nonfiction. Okay? Math. So here's just another example. This may actually even be towards the end of the year in toddler for some of those older 3s, and then even overlap into the primary classrooms, and then into addition as well. So it's not something just for the young toddlers or young 3s. They even have, one of them will be subtraction. There may be a large basket of 50 objects where they're starting to do subtraction or multiplication with the objects. Next. Transportation. So this is a unit after I started taking all of these pictures because they're studying it right now in toddler. I realized primary does not do transportation, so this is a specific toddler one. So this is language development, word association down here. They're matching pictures of the firefighter. That was one of like 5 of them. Object to object matching, shape matching, keep going. Math for toddler as well. And then manipulatives, that's probably a toddler favorite. So manipulatives in toddler can also be kind of considered sensorial and primary as well. So a lot of building and concrete material there. Insects, so this is another theme, practical life. So if they're in practical life, they're still just getting that exposure to insects. A lot of times they get really creative. I'm going to tweeze the butterflies first. I'm going to tweeze the bumblebees. Is that a good one? I know. Language, again, just some of the basics. This is the object to object, object to picture, and beginning sounds. Math, counting, manipulatives. Oh, can you go back one really quick? Because I just want to show too, I kind of try to place these in the progression where this may be the beginning, introductory to it, perhaps toddler as well, into primary, the life cycle, and then this was actually, there's 12 cards, but I only took 9 of them for the life cycle cards as well. So I could put all of these on one rectangle as well. Okay, so this is my funny story to wrap this up. So this is what my office looked like. I mean, I had bins and totes and baskets, and I was like, I need a table mat for this picture, and I need a basket for this one, and I need a floor mat for this one. So the toddlers were walking by at the end of the day, and one of them was like, oh my! And I was like, I know, look at all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, what are you doing with it? And I said, oh, I'm taking pictures of it. And he goes, then what? I said, then I'm going to have to put it away. And he goes, good luck with that. Just keeps walking. I was like, but when we talk about integrated curriculum, that's when we were talking about it as a group, like we so do that in pre-primary and primary because they are independently navigating and choosing their work. So we want to make sure that there is exposure no matter where they are in the classroom, whether it is they're doing the manipulatives, if they're in math, if they're in practical life, if they're in language, that they do have the exposure to whatever themes that they are studying while still fostering that innate love and the interest of where they're drawn to.